Good morning, everybody. It's just after 8:30 in the morning on Monday, and I feel rough. I mostly feel just tired. Like, I don't know why. I slept through the entire night. I spent too much time on TikTok last night, honestly, before I went to sleep. So this week, what my main goal is to finally get through the end of the Fires of Heaven. Last night I got to page 600. I did not get to the page goal I wanted to yesterday, which is fine. I just didn't end up being able to get to that, but I did read like 50 something, almost 50 pages I think last night with doing sprints with Princess. I would like to try to get this done early this week because I now have like 288 pages left. And then I also want to get through more of the Book of Magic by Alice Hoffman. On the bright side, today I have a nice latte that I made for myself. And I'm actually, now that I'm talking, I'm starting to wake up a little bit more, so I'm feeling a little bit better, which is good. The other book I want to get to is also Sword of Destiny, which is the second book in the Witcher series. Anyway, my battery's going to die right now, so I need to get going. But I will update when I've made progress with the Fires of Heaven. Or if anything interesting comes up, because honestly, not much is very interesting, other than the fact that, you know, it's a new week. That's basically it. Of course I go to film and there's like a bunch of sirens going on. So it is now 7:15. Have I even touched my books today? No. And I have an Oscar here who's very upset at me at the fact that Dad is outside without him mowing the lawn. But on the bright side, I'm just now being able to get to doing my editing and alternating with reading sprints, basically, because I have 2 videos I need to edit. I have my vlog from last week and my announcement video for Battle of the Bookish that I need to get set out. So I think I can get them both done tonight. Might be a bit of a late night for me, but basically what I'm gonna do is like I've done before, where I just alternate with work and reading sprints. So I'm gonna grab my dice and we're gonna see what I end up getting first. So I'm gonna use my D12 like I always do, and let's see what we end up getting. 4. Okay, so the first sprint I'm gonna do is gonna be 20 minutes. And because I'm waiting for my footage to finish rendering, I'm gonna start by doing some reading. So let's go ahead and get some reading done of The Fires of Heaven. And also, like I've been doing, I'm gonna use my Floral app to basically not be able to use my phone. So we've got 20 minutes set. Let's go. Okay, I read about 11 pages during that sprint. So let's see what our first work sprint's going to be. Also 20 minutes. Okay, not too bad. That sounds pretty good to me.
I've been lying here for too long. I don't know what else to do. I wanna get away from every little thing just to try to make it through. I've been thinking about my options, every detail in my head, but it doesn't really matter, nothing matters, so I cry instead. I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. I've been staring at the ceiling, I've been staying up all night. Everything I ever worked for vanished in the blink of an eye. I've been asking every question, 'cause I haven't got a clue. Why's it gotta be me? What the hell am I supposed to do? I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. And I know there's so much more to this life, but it's hard to see it clearly. Yeah, I try my best, but nothing turns out right. God, I need you now so dearly, 'cause I've been running circles.
Hey guys, so it is going on 9 a.m. on Friday. The window is open over here on my side, so if you hear stuff out from outside, that's why, because it's hot. We've had a heat wave hit here in Michigan where it's been over 80 degrees for the last couple of days, and so we got to keep air circulating because we don't have air conditioning in the house. So anyway, I haven't really talked to you guys in the last handful of days because I really haven't had anything to update on. I just have been kind of vibing, chilling, doing what I can. I will say that Robert and I over this past week have watched the entirety of Marvel's Moon Knight series, which was really interesting. I really liked the beginning of it, and I really liked most of what there was. I did feel though that there was a certain aspect of the story that you find out about in terms of why the character is the way he is, about 4 episodes in, and it was really cool. I liked the idea that they were going for. I think that they did the justice that needed to be done to the topic at hand, but I felt that it was a little much. Oh, hello, Oscar. Good morning, sweet boy. Apparently he wants to be in on the conversation since he technically watched Moon Knight as well. I felt though that it was a little rushed, and I do feel that the topic at hand that comes in partway through the series that explains the character, like why he is the way he is, was a little much. I think that basically having one full episode dedicated to that was a little much. I would have preferred if they were going to go about telling that kind of a story, that either the show would be a little longer, where that could be split up over multiple episodes. At the very least, you would kind of get more of what was happening in the other episodes. We got some kind of inklings in terms of what exactly might be going on, but it was all very vague, and we really didn't get enough in my mind. I think that what they did was interesting, considering that the series was only 6 episodes and they are not looking to make a second season of it, so what there is it. But it was pretty good. I think in general I would give it maybe like 7 or 8 out of 10. Like, it wasn't that bad. It was actually really fun and interesting. And personally, with my love for Egyptian mythology and everything Egypt, I really think that they did the mythologies very well in that series. I think that it definitely played very well on the idea of the avatars and the gods, and like how realistically that would work in terms of the gods taking on the bodies and the personas, in a sense of the people, and how they would use them as basically conduits. I really liked that. I think that it definitely hit the nail on the head in terms of what I would expect for it. I know some people were kind of hit or miss with it, but I really, really enjoyed it. I also really loved the exploration of like the underworld, which is a very different kind of idea than I think I had ever like really thought of, but I really liked the way that they kind of expressed it, where it's very much up to the individual in terms of their own perception of it based on their experiences in their life. If you've not watched Moon Knight, you definitely should. I think it's very, very fun, especially for being only 6 episodes. It makes me more appreciative too that Loki is getting a second season, because 6 episodes of Loki was not enough for me. Like, there was so much riding on the end of that season that I needed a season 2, and Oscar's decided he's gonna throw a tantrum at Moon Knight because he wanted more, apparently. But then we also started the first episode of WandaVision a couple nights ago, which that was interesting. Also with WandaVision though, I do know kind of the main twist within all of it, so it's not going to be as much of a shock to me, but according to what my mom said, that the way that they bring about that twist is kind of sad, so I think I'm going to probably have my heart hurt at some point. But I'm a little unnerved with how it's all set up with WandaVision, because for one, it's really, really like reminiscent of those old TV shows like I Love Lucy. What else? Like, I don't know very many 50s and 60s TV shows that were still in black and white, but first one I can think of is I Love Lucy. Oh, it's like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I think. Maybe even Bewitched, I think I had said to my husband. But I'm curious to see how the rest of that season goes, because that's also, I think, only 6 episodes. And from what I understand, the end is pretty crazy, and I mean, it is what basically leads up to the Doctor Strange movie that comes out, or that came out here not too long ago. So I know that basically before we watch that, we have to have watched WandaVision, because pretty much what happens there does tie into what happens in Multiverse of Madness, which I've also heard really, really crap things about. I have heard that people have really, really disliked it, and it's also very scary in a lot of ways. So I'm a little nervous about that, only because I really liked the first Doctor Strange movie. I like Stephen Strange as a character, and I really, really love Wanda by herself. So I'm hoping, though, that Multiverse of Madness doesn't screw up anything in terms of their characters, in terms of what the logic has been established as part of the multiverse kind of thing, with Loki, with Spider-Man, with everything that's been going on at this point. So I don't know. I'm a little nervous to see Multiverse of Madness. It's not like I'm going to see it anytime soon, though, because Oscar, we're still in the process of training him to be on his own at home, and he's not able to be left alone for a few hours at a time yet. So we're probably not going to be able to see it until it comes out on Disney Plus or anything like that. Anyway, let's move to a reading update. So in terms of my reading, I have been reading slowly over the last couple of days. Not really much to talk about though. I'm closing in on 700 pages of The Fires of Heaven, so I don't have a lot of it left. I only have like basically just over 180 pages. I feel like this is just really, really slow. I'm not sure if it's because I'm just overdone with the Wheel of Time, or if it's like the sheer size of the book, or if it's the fact that it's a high fantasy. I'm just not enjoying it as much as I would like, but I'm still enjoying it, if it makes sense. Like, I'm still like liking the process of reading it. I'm still liking the story and the characters. I'm just not having as fun of a time with this book in particular. It's very much kind of in that 3-star realm for me. I do think that part of the reason I'm having such an issue with it right now, though, is because I've kind of been stuck with this book for so long. So I do think that with having been stuck with it for a long time, I'm kind of just wanting to get to the end of it and just finish it. So that is something I'm trying to keep in mind with this, is that the time it's been taking me to read it has been really like affecting my enjoyment of it. And truthfully, the reason it's been taking me so long is because I just haven't really had the energy a lot of times to read, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm trying to like do a lot of stuff, and then on top of it, I'm trying to spend a little bit more time with my husband, just because like there's stuff that we want to, you know, do together. We want to watch stuff together, so I'm trying to take some time, more so in my day to do that. And then usually after we watch, like for instance this past week, we watched like 1 or 2 episodes of Moon Knight, and then I would go do something, read, edit, something like that. And usually we would watch stuff like while we're eating dinner, so I'm trying to like be a little bit more mindful about that. And also, I'm not reading over the course of the day like I've been doing, mostly because I'm just, I don't know, I'm just not in that right, you know, reading mood. I think that it's kind of like chicken before the egg situation, where I'm not sure if I'm not reading it because I don't have the energy, or if I don't have the energy because I don't necessarily want to continue reading it and I would like to be done with it, kind of thing. I'm not quite sure which one is really the reason here, but they're both pretty, you know, equal in terms of feeling, and they're pretty much the same feeling, where I'm just like, I want to be done with it. I want to move to something else. Like, I want to continue reading the Book of Magic that I've been stuck on, because I have been trying to finish the Fires of Heaven here. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen in terms of like this weekend. I do know that around noon today, my husband is leaving. He is going to go away for the weekend. He's basically having the bachelor party for one of our friends who's getting married in June. And he's one of the groomsmen. So they're going up north to go camping and have a great time. Both of my parents are still recovering from COVID. My sister somehow did not end up testing positive for COVID, and she went back to her own place a couple hours away. And both of my grandparents may be sick with COVID. They're not like really sure. My grandmother swears up and down it's just bronchitis, which she tends to get here in like the early part of the summer, late spring. But yeah, so that's basically what's been going on. So because my parents have COVID right now, I'm not going to go see them. They're not going to come here. My sister's not really, I think, going to come do anything. She's just kind of going to stay in her place. So I pretty much have the whole weekend to myself, because Robert's not going to be back until sometime late in the evening on Sunday. So I will have the entirety of Friday to myself. I'll have the entirety of Saturday, so I can get a lot of reading done, I think. I think tonight what I'll do is, after I get dinner made and I watch maybe a couple episodes of Survivor, because I'm on Survivor Palau, which is season 10. I'm basically at the point where they've already voted off their 3rd person for the jury, so we're getting down to the wire. I think after I watch a couple episodes of that, I'll get started with reading The Fires of Heaven and trying to get through some of that. But I think the bulk of that reading will be some during the day tomorrow, and then I will try to also get through the entirety of the Book of Magic, because this one will go by a lot faster since it's a lot smaller, excuse me. And then I think after that, I'm going to try to get through Sword of Destiny, which is the next book in the Witcher series. That was what I had slated for my next book. And then I think if I can get through Sword of Destiny this weekend, I'll be able to start The Hero of Ages, which is book 3 in the Mistborn Era 1 series by Brandon Sanderson, which I also have a book haul I'll show you guys later. Basically grabbed like the whole entirety of the second era of Mistborn and then a couple other things. So I'll show you guys that later today when like I'm on my lunch or something like that. So Anyway, I should probably get back to work. My break time is almost over, and I gotta get stuff together for Robert to go take the library books back to the library when he's out and about. So, hello everybody. It is going on 12:40 in the afternoon. I'm still on my lunch break, and Oscar and I are heading upstairs so that I can show you the books I got yesterday when I was at the bookstore. So, still on my lunch break, like I said. I gotta go back soon though, but I did want to show you guys what I ended up getting because I got quite a few things when I was at the bookstore. I went to Schuler Books out in Okemos. It is one of my favorite bookstores of all time. I highly suggest you guys go check it out if you get a chance. There are only 2 of these stores because they are considered an independent bookseller. There's one in Okemos, Michigan, and there is one in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So if you get a chance, please go check them out. I'll leave their TikTok account down below in the description too because their TikTok accounts are actually really, really cool. I really like what they've done with it. Also, I realized today is Friday the 13th, and for me that's a really nice day because for one, it's a really good day for theater people. That's what I was told growing up, that Friday the 13th is like the luckiest day for theater people. And also, because I'm a practicing witch and I actually work with the goddess Freya, it is also Freya's day, which basically it's just a day that is dedicated to her. I'm not quite sure what the significance of it is as of yet. I still have to do some research within that, but it's a really good day to basically do a lot of self-care things because Freya is the goddess of beauty, love, sex, a lot of stuff that basically involves femininity. It's a very divine feminine based day, so it's a really good idea for people to do things that are self-care based or really just doing anything, even if it like involves family, because Freya is also very family oriented. So basically what I've done so far today in celebration of that is that I did wash my hair. It's currently kind of pulled back so I could eat without it being in my face, but I washed my hair, I shaved my legs and stuff because I've been needing to do that, and later on tonight I'm going to do a facial, and I also ordered myself some lunch today as another kind of self-care moment. Robert is now gone. He is heading up north with some friends for the bachelor party that I was talking about, and so I now have the house to myself. And another form of self-care I'm going to do is, like I said, when I eat dinner tonight, I'm going to watch some Survivor, and then I'm also going to get to doing some reading because now that I have the house to myself, I don't have anybody to distract me from, you know, being able to read. But what I'll show you guys real quick before I gotta go back downstairs is what I bought at the bookstore. So like I said, I did go for like something specific at first. I did get the entirety of the Mistborn Era 2 series, which are The Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, and The Bands of Mourning. These are basically a series that takes place 300 years after the original Mistborn series. We're going to be reading all 3 of these along with at least 1 short story in the month of June for the Brandon Sanderson read-along. On top of that, I also ended up getting Elantris because I think we're going to be getting through this in July if I'm not mistaken. And I also got Warbreaker because, again, we're going to be getting through a lot of these. Basically, these were like the mass market paperbacks that were super, super cheap that I just decided to pick up because they were all there. And my husband actually has the 3 books in the Stormlight Archive, The Way of Kings, what is it? The Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, and Oathbreaker. He has a set of those that I will be borrowing. I also have The Way of Kings on my Kindle, so I'm going to basically use my Kindle for Way of Kings and then borrow his books of Words of Radiance and Oathbringer. They did have Rhythm of War there, but they only have the big, really thick paperbacks, and I kind of wanted to wait to see if further on down the line, like several months, like when we get to that point, if they come out with a smaller paperback like they have for the other 3 books. And then the last thing I also got was called, it's a short story, The Emperor's Soul. I don't think that this is in the Arcanum Unbounded, I don't think. I think this is a little separate, but if it ends up being that this is also in Arcanum Unbounded, I will just basically donate this. I'll just basically sell it to the used bookstore that I go to sell books to back in my hometown. So yeah, I think that that is kind of the plan. But those are the books I ended up getting. I got 6 of them. Like I said though, tonight we'll get through some of the Fires of Heaven and just kind of go from there. Hi buddy! Hi! Hi Booba! Oh, thank you. I get all kinds of loves from my booba because I'm stuck with him now for 3 days by myself. Are we gonna have fun? Are we gonna have fun, Oscar? Do you think so? Do you think we're gonna have fun? I'm gonna go back downstairs and go get back to work. I got 10 minutes until my lunch is up, so I'm gonna go basically just go chill out downstairs and we'll kind of see where the day takes us. Hey guys, so it is after 10 o'clock at night. I'm not quite sure when after 10 o'clock, and I am in a sports bra and shorts because it is fucking hot in this house. It's been, like I said, like today by itself was almost 90 degrees and it was hot. I was so hot, my feet hurt. Like they felt like they were burning, and I had to go sit my feet in the tub and let water, like cold water, run on them. And that's the only way I've been able to like get kind of cooled down. Like all day I've been fighting this urge to like just go jump into a pool, but I can't because I would have to take Oscar with me, and I don't know how I would be able to do that with him by myself. Oscar here has just had all kinds of zoomies and been a bit of a jerk this evening, but I think he's finally settling down. But reading update, because I have done a little bit of reading today, not too much, but enough to where I'm comfortable to end for the night. I am on chapter 48 right now, page 712. So I have less than 200 pages left of this. I think that tomorrow my main focus is going to be finishing this, obviously, because like I said, with less than 200 pages, it's a lot more manageable. It is probably going to take me most of the day, though. I want to be done with it. I'm still enjoying it. We definitely have reached a new point where like some of the characters are in possible danger, which is always interesting. I always find that those sections are obviously a little bit more entertaining because it's very fast paced. There's a lot of stuff moving, stuff grooving, that kind of stuff. But anyway, Oscar is passed out on the floor currently. So I think it's time for us to go to bed. So I'm going to finish my glass of wine and keep watching some YouTube videos to help me fall asleep. And we'll see how tomorrow goes. We're going to hope it's going to go well. Okay, it's going on 4:30 in the afternoon on Saturday. Do you want to know how much reading I've done today? Zilch. Zero. Nada. Do you know what I did do today? Didn't get out of bed until about 10 o'clock. Talked to my mom for a couple of hours on the phone. Then proceeded to scroll on TikTok for about an hour before then deciding to get some lunch, and then sat and watched the last 2 episodes of Survivor I needed to watch to finish out season 10. Then was on the phone again with my mom because my grandmother from Texas had sent stuff to her house that had gifts for me, my sister, and my husband, which was very fun. It was a bunch of Nerf guns with a note basically saying for when everyone's feeling better. And my sister and Robert and I also got gift cards to JCPenney. And after that, I went into the shower real quick to rinse myself off because I was really sweaty. It's been still pretty warm today, but it's now getting ready to cool down because there was a kind of storm that passed. It was supposed to storm today, but really all it's been is a little cloudy, and I might have heard thunder, but it also could have just been really loud cars from like the highway or something. And now I'm gonna get started with reading today. So I don't really know what's gonna happen this evening. I'm not really hungry enough to make dinner at all, and I have still a lot of my lunch left over, so I might just really nibble on that for most of the evening. But before anything else happens, I'm going to get through the rest of the Fires of Heaven. I'm gonna really try to get this done before sprints tonight. I've got a few hours. I've got like 3.5 hours until sprints. So I think it's possible, but this also takes me a long time to move through because it's so high fantasy, but I guess we'll see how things end up. So let's just get going. I'm not gonna do sprints for this. I'm just gonna basically try to ram through the last like several chapters because I'm currently about 8 or 9 chapters from the end of the book. I mean, I've got less than 200 pages, so I think I could really crank it out here, but I guess we'll see how that goes. So. Okay, so it is getting close to sprint time. I've got like 6 minutes and I have not quite finished the Fires of Heaven, but I am about 110 pages from or yeah, like 110 less than that away from finishing it. So it is possible I will be able to finish this during sprints, provided that I get enough time to read through it. But I'm honestly thinking that my rating of this is going to be more of like a 2-star, because honestly, I feel like that this was just not nearly as enjoyable. I do feel like I fell asleep through a lot of this, more so than I did the third book, which was the Dragon Reborn, I think. And I don't know, I don't feel like I get the point of a lot of the stuff that was involved in here, because it was really a lot of nothing. It was a lot of, like, kind of just, I don't know, like, this is definitely suffering from one of the middle book syndrome-esque things that I think that some of the books in this series suffer from. I don't know, there's been some interesting, like, things that I think are going to play into the next book, but nothing is really cementing in my brain. And I feel like that this is kind of the thing that I've heard a lot of people say with the Wheel of Time, is that there's quite a few books, like, in the middle portion of it that definitely feel like they're just really, really boring, that they are not as interesting because there's not as much action going on. There's not as many things being revealed. This is very much something where it's like a middle of the road. This stuff has to come up because it helps to further develop the plot in later books, kind of thing. And I'm just kind of suffering at this point, which is part of the reason why it's been taking me so long to get through this. So I think I should hopefully be able to finish it during sprints tonight. And then if I have time during sprints, I would like to be able to get through some of the Book of Magic, but we'll have to see what I end up doing tonight. So I gotta get started with sprints here really soon. I got like a minute and a half before sprints start. So I will see you guys when I finally finish The Fires of Heaven and have my final thoughts on it. Good morning, everybody. It is going on 10 o'clock a.m. on Sunday, and last night I finally finished The Fires of Heaven by Robert Jordan. So I read a lot of this during sprints yesterday, and then had like less than 50 pages of it before the end of sprints. Like, basically after our last sprint, I had like, I think 48 pages, something like that. So I stayed up until about 12:45 this morning finishing this, and I will say the last 100 pages was probably the best of the entire book. To the point where it does alter my rating a little bit, but I still genuinely feel like this is more of like a 2.5 to 3-star. But I still do feel like that because it was only the last 100 pages that really seemed to be interesting for the most part, other than like one big battle scene at like the 600 page mark. I'm still uncertain as to whether or not I want to give it 3 stars or keep it at 2. I'm kind of leaning towards keeping it at 2 just because I don't feel like that there was too much that I really did enjoy of this. And I feel that overall my entire experience with this was not really great. It's not that like it was bad, it just was not a very good experience in terms of feeling like I was slogging through a lot of it, that it was really boring for most of it. And I just don't feel comfortable giving it the 3 stars, and so I think I'm going to stick with it being 2, just because I think that that better represents my overall thoughts and experience with this. But the last 100 pages of this, a lot of things change to where it's going to be interesting how the next book fares, because there was basically a supposed death in this about 100 pages to the end, and then it turns out in the last chapter that that person is not dead, but that they are basically plotting the ability to like come back after some time, because they basically had to fake their own death to protect themselves. And it's going to be interesting how that plays out, because the person that supposedly dies is like not a super integral character in the main group of people that's in there. They're still integral in the sense that like they are going to basically change the course of things down the line when the opportunity becomes available. And I'm curious to see how that plays out and whether or not it does involve our main group of people. Finally finished this. I still need to implement it into my reading stuff. I have to basically go through and get the points for it for Witch-a-thon, I think, and Desertathon and stuff, but In just a minute, I will roll for my next read for Desertathon, and hopefully one of my books, either the Book of Magic or Swords of Destiny that I'm going to try to work on today, are going to fit it. The thing is that Robert is now heading home from being out for the weekend. They were going to go golfing today, but everybody got super sunburned yesterday, apparently, that they were just not doing it. They were very tired and hurt like hell. Also, today for the first time, I left Oscar here by himself for 15 minutes so that I could go get some aloe for my husband. And I had to get a coffee for some dopamine because I was panicking, and he did great. No messes. And I was really nervous because I was worried that he was going to rip up like the couch cushions or pillows or something, and he didn't. No messes. He didn't go potty anywhere. And I made sure before I left to have him go potty, and he did great. I'm so proud of him. Oh, that was a really hard thing because the last time I left him by himself was when he was a lot smaller and in a crate, because I had to go an hour away to go do a drug test for the contracting agency that I am under now. And when I got home, he had been chewing on the bars of the crate and basically had like cut his gums, so there was blood. And that was not a very pleasant experience. I had called my husband that day in a complete panic. I was worried that he did something to himself and that he hurt himself really bad, but he didn't. He just cut his gums. So this was the first time since then I've left him by himself for more than 2 minutes. So he did amazingly. I'm so proud of him. I cannot believe that I am so lucky to have a puppy who is just absolutely the best. I just adore him so much. And now he's sitting here at my feet because he does not want to leave mom. Not at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill out the stuff for the readathons I'm doing, and then I'll come back and we'll do the roll for the next prompt for Desertathon. Okay, I have got the Desertathon board pulled up, and we last left off on space 12 right here. So we're gonna go ahead and roll to see what space we land on this time with my pink D20. Oh no. So we got a 4 that time. So again, low roll, but let's see what we end up getting. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this time it's a red prompt. So I'm gonna randomize the cards and pull one, and we'll have to go with the red prompt for it. Also, just so I remind you guys, I am taking out the cards I've already used. So I've already used card 5 and card 12. So if either of those numbers come up, I will not be using them, but anything else in this deck I will use because technically I've already used these two, so they would be out of the rotation. Okay, so I've got my random number generator, minimum 1, maximum 20 for 20 cards. Let's see what we get. Card number 6. Okay, so here's card number 6. The red prompt is read a book that is out of your comfort zone. Okay, so I gotta think which one of my books is out of my comfort zone. Okay, so quite honestly, none of the books I have set on my TBR are exactly out of my comfort zone. So I feel like I'm gonna have to pick something that is like the least comforting kind of read, which for me would be It. But I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to get to that because I've got like my books set in a certain order for this month, and it is like at the bottom almost of the month. Unless I can somehow pound through the rest of my books that I have leading up to that, I do not know if I will get to that. But I will say too that technically The Witcher is a new author for me, and I've only read one of their books. So technically it's out of my comfort zone because new authors are outside of your comfort zone for the most part until you get like 2 or 3 books into them. Plus it's a world I'm not super familiar with. The first book, The Last Wish, which was a compilation of basically a bunch of stories leading up to the idea of The Witcher, it was really interesting, but it definitely was kind of like having to find my footing within the whole world and the whole plot of Geralt and everything. And I do feel like that this is going to be something similar to that, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how that goes. So I think I could technically count Sword of Destiny for this just because it is outside of my comfort zone. Book of Magic doesn't really count for this because I've read Alice Hoffman now 3 books in, and it's also the part of a series that I'm familiar with, so it's not really out of my comfort zone. But I definitely think that Sword of Destiny does play more into that. So I think that that's going to be able to count. I really don't know if I'm going to have the ability to complete the board this month with all of these low rolls unless somehow I manage to, like I said, like crank through a ton of books. But I guess we'll have to see how the rest of the month goes. But I think for right now, I'm going to end this vlog here because I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to read exactly today. I'm going to be able to read some because I'll be getting through the Book of Magic, but I do have to do a lot of filming today as well. And Robert's going to be home and I have to help him because he is in a lot of pain from being sunburned. So I do have to like help him get stuff around, stuff like that, and put aloe and stuff on him. So that's kind of what my day is going to look like for the rest of the day. So it's not going to be super interesting. But my goal for the rest of the day is I'm going to try to get through the rest of the Book of Magic at the very least. That is my plan because it is a very fast book to fly through. It's like 350-ish pages, so I think it's much more manageable than like the Fires of Heaven. But, and then I think next week what I would like to do is get through the entirety of Sword of Destiny and then get it through at least one more book. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me in this vlog. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you liked me and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.